Egyptians are still reeling from the deadliest terror attack on record in the country. More than 230 people died on Friday at a mosque in the Northern Sinai region. Militants detonated a bomb in the mosque. People who tried to flee were then gunned down. Egypt has been fighting ISIL-affiliated militants in the Sinai region for years now. In the past, security forces have been targets, but the attacks on civilian worshippers has now shocked the world. More than 100 people are wounded, and some of them have been recounting the terrible events. CGTN's Adel Mahroui has more on that story.
Egypt has been traumatized by an attack unheard of in the country's modern history. Hundreds of unarmed civilians killed and wounded while praying in a mosque in North Sinai, after militants detonated a bomb and sprayed the worshippers with gunfire.
I was outside mosque and suddenly I heard gunshots inside. I saw them running and I went inside the mosque. I found all of the people climbing on top of each other. They were trying to get out of the mosque because they were afraid. And I was trying to get out and a bullet entered my leg.
Entire families have been killed during this attack inside the mosque, and families who were outside the mosque in the broader village were also attacked. These groups have lost the power to attack security checkpoints as they're used to. Now they're starting to attack a mosque for the first time in Egypt in 200 years.
In the hours after the attack, no group had yet to claim responsibility. After meeting with the country's top security officials, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi addressed the nation, announcing 3 days of mourning.
This attack will only increase our persistence and will strengthen our unity. The armed forces and the police will revenge our martyrs, restore security and stability with extreme force in the coming short period.
According to officials, the military conducted several airstrikes in Al Arish region, destroying vehicles used in the attack, as well as weapons warehouses. They also targeted mountainous areas believed to be where militants were hiding. The attack comes 1 week before the Islamic world marks the birthday of Prophet Muhammad. Mosques should have been getting decorated for these celebrations. Instead, an entire country is mourning. Adel Mahroui, CGTN, Cairo.
Well, let's get you an update on that horrific attack on Friday. I'm now joined live from Cairo by CGTN's Adel Mahroui. Adel, Egypt is now in mourning. What is the latest you can tell us on the burial arrangements for the victims as well as the recovery of the wounded?
Well, there are still intensified medical efforts to look after the wounded who have been distributed in about 6 to 7 hospitals in several Egyptian cities, among them the Egyptian capital. Some are in very critical condition who have not recovered yet, and others are under precise and continuous medical supervision. The burials of those handed over to their families have proceeded immediately, but the majority is still not yet in the process. A process of identification the bodies is quite crucial to hand everybody to its family members so that the burials could continue. So there are families who have not yet had their final piece in giving farewell to their loved ones through the usual funeral proceedings here in Egypt.
And Adel, do we at this time have any more details on the attackers, what group they belong to, and probably more importantly, why they committed this act?
Well, it's still coming up. The information exactly also about what happened in the Sinai has not been officially confirmed yet. So we're still looking into a lot of questions that remain unanswered. Why has the mosques been targeted? Why those in specific? But we know that there are 2 major families who usually pray in this mosque in the Sinai who have complete cooperation with the Egyptian armed forces, and that hit might have been one of the reasons to target that mosque in particular. It's also 1 week before the Muslim world celebrates the birthday of Prophet Muhammad, and Sufis, some Muslim sects have certain ways to celebrate which is not acceptable by puritanical Islamic ideologies, and therefore that's also maybe another reason to why this mosque have been targeted. But all in all, the Egyptian armed forces have been continuing its military operations overnight. This morning they released a statement saying that they have attacked more sites that they have confirmed intelligence information, saying that they belong to terrorist organizations, terrorist groups and militants hideouts as well, and that they are continuing intensively to monitor and calm the area to make sure that the perpetrators are all either captured or have in a way been terminated in a clash with the military and police troops on the ground.
And of course, there were strong words there from President Sisi, as we heard from your report earlier. How does he plan to tackle militancy in Sinai?
Well, one of the main points that seemed to concern the Egyptian president and was apparent in his speech is that he said that Egypt alone is fighting terrorism in this area and in this part of the Middle East, in reference to the burden that it has over the Egyptian armed forces, and that there are no other international players concerned to work with Egypt on its views to tackle down and to terminate the threat of the extreme ideologies and interpretations of Islam that fuel the recruitment process of militant groups and terrorist organizations. And Egypt has had a long plan to tackle all of it. Part of it is security intervention, part of it is ideological awareness among the public, and also to stabilize the region, where Egypt strongly believes that the regional crises in Syria, in Palestine, in Libya, these instability are the main source of fueling or giving reasons for some individuals weak-minded to be easily recruited by these organizations. And therefore Egypt believes there is a comprehensive approach to that threat that is not just threatening the Middle East, but it's crossing beyond the region to threat the entire world. But Egypt needs also help from the international community to work on its plan and try to have the same approach, which it believes could end. But so far, with all the efforts, we always see such horrific attacks happening. To just say that what is happening on the ground is still not enough.
All right, Adel, thank you very much for those updates. CGTN's Adel Mahroui speaking to us live there from Cairo as we get more details on that attack on Friday.